What's up, guys? Chris with Cnc4newbies here. I've been getting a lot of messages lately about Z-axis upgrades, um, and I'm not trying to push a product. I'm trying to show you guys kind of what you're looking at whenever you're looking at these for the different machines, because the Z-axes are very different. So I've had some guys ordering some Shapeoko, some Z-axes for the Shapeoko. I've had some guys ordering them from the xcarve groups, and I've had some guys ordering from the Cnc4newbies group, but they're for like different machines other than the C4N machines. Um, so I'm going to kind of go through the three Z-axes, and I'm going to show you the mounting positions of these things so that you can get a better feel for where you might be at. So let's go ahead and get into this. Let me flip the camera around. Settings, camera, back camera. There we go. All right, let's close this out here. So your typical like xcarve, Cnc4newbies, new carve, the high speed new carve, and I believe the Shapeoko uses this exact backplate. You're going to have these two mounting holes, and then these are all the linear rail mounts, and then you have your linear rail bearings here. Okay, this is your common smaller Z-axis, and like I said, this one I have successfully put on my xcarve. I've put on my new carve high speed, and I've put on what else did I put it on? Well, I put it on a homemade machine, and I put it on. I actually put one of these on a drill press, but that was not for not for that purpose. But anyways, so most of you guys that are in the groups are going to be looking at like a Z-axis like this. Some things to remember with these are limit switch, black wire, red wire. Then make sure the two screws in the motor coupling are nice and tight, and you should be good there. And then make sure that the bearings are greased. The anti-backlash nut, which is actually back up inside of there, it is a Delron acetate nut, or I'm sorry, a Delron nut, I believe it is what that is. And it has thinner, a thinner lead screw. And then you want to put some 3-in-1 oil or stuff like that on this and on this. Do not put the 3-in-1 oil on in the linear bearings and the backlash nut, thinking that it's going to lubricate enough for you to get the bearings squared away. Now, this is what the back plate looks like for the high-speed new carve. We have these two holes in this hole. And the nice part about that, I'm not positive on if you guys can upgrade the xcarve to this Z-axis, because it is heavier, but it is an upgrade. This is our standard Pro Z. Has the linear rail bearings. It has the two mounting spots. And then on top of it, it has these mounting spots for the larger Z-axis for the C4N Pro machines. But because this has those same screw holes, if you look right through here, you'll actually see mounts. And you could put this one in place of that one. This one is a much better Z-axis in my opinion, because it has a thicker lead screw. It has a much better lead screw. The linear rails are much thicker. The bearings are much thicker. And it's just overall a beefier Z-axis, as you can tell. Now, for you guys running these on all machines, set screw comes out, and I like to use the Crimson Red, Valvoline Crimson Red, high tack heavy duty grease. NLGI2 grease works. So I would pump that into the linear bearings and the anti-backlash nut. This has the brass anti-backlash nut in it. And then oil the linear rails and the lead screw. We're going to go over here and I'll show you what the lead screw looks like. So this is the lead screw that's in there. This is kind of par for the course for a lot of, let's see here. As you can tell, I have a bunch of Z-axis modules. Okay, so this is open builds, and the open builds is very similar to the xcarve one. Okay, so but this is the lead screw that is in our Big Z. Pack grease in there, let it run through this and this, and then put the 3-in-1 orange label oil on there. This is what we use, what I use. Then on top of it, you can see the bearings. That's actually the bearings there. So I prefer using the biggest Z that I can, that doesn't hinder functionality of the machine. Like I said, for an xcarve, this might be too big. Okay, so you might have to stick with an upgrade like this one from the small lead screw and the V wheels. All right, for the Cnc4newbies machines, this one will come standard, and this will be the upgrade. With that, you know, you can also upgrade your spindles and routers. So I've successfully ran a 1617 EVS on this Z-axis with no problem. On this one, I've ran a Makita and a DeWalt, and if you look on it, it actually has an 80 millimeter spindle mount, and the B&R actually has the ability to fit on that one. So that gives you options now of different spindles and routers that you could use on different machines. The biggest thing, guys, is you have to make sure that your machine can handle whatever upgrade you put on it. If you have a machine that is running this with 17 millimeter NEMA or 17 millimeter NEMA 17 motors, you're probably not going to be able to run this without some big upgrades. Let's see. Michael Nizzo, what's up, my man? My Z-axis stutters, skips only on the way down. Do I need to grease, and what kind of grease? So there are a bunch of different things that it could be, but I would grease, and then I would also check my set screws, and then I would check my accelerations settings. Michael. Cnc, how are you doing, Chris? Hope Miami is treating you well. I saw you mention in a previous video that Cnc for Newbies was going to offer or release a bit setter type touch off option. Do you have any update on that? CNC, I actually do. I run mine, and then this is the production one. This will be going on my machine. And that's one of the cool things that UCCNC allows, or Mach 3 allows, is the upgradability in the software. Some of the G code senders for Gerbil allow you to use a bit setter, and then some of them just don't and let you down. So with that being said, I mean, you've got a bunch of different Z options out on the market for you guys. And I say upgrade your Z axis to the biggest, best Z axis you can. You know, for me, this came off of my Pro and is going on my high-speed new carve 3636. You know, this I use as my drill spindle, and stuff like that. So just be aware of what you're doing with your Z-axis. And I know of one Z-axis that took some abuse, and the guy used it for over a year. Did not grease or lube the anti-backlash nut, and then was in the middle of a 3D carve and actually ripped the threads out of the brass anti-backlash nut system. You know, so he never greased it, never lubed it up, and it went a year before he tore the threads out. So they can take some abuse. I was trying to look around the shop and see if my xcarve Z-axis was out there to show you kind of the benefits of putting all of these side by side, because I would say the xcarve Z-axis is probably the worst out of them. For me, this would be second worst. This would be upgrade, and this would be a great upgrade if your machine can handle it. Then, you know, can you make a video of greasing and oiling? Michael, I can absolutely do a video. Pawpaw has a great video out, Pawpaw's Workshop on YouTube. There we go. Sorry about that. I was buffering. But anyways, I upgraded my CNC for Newbies 4x8 machine. Actually utilizes a ball screw setup This is only available for the ball screw machines or me if you have the rack and pinion. I know there's one other guy that has one of these on a rack and pinion machine. But then, you know, you have other options to add to your Z axes. Okay, guys. Tram plates. Are they necessary? No. Um, should they be used? My personal opinion is no. You should set up your machine the proper way, which means if you have front to back tilt, you should adjust your side plates, bring the plate forward, or adjust the gantry from there. Being that the gantry should be set from the factory correctly for your machine, you should probably adjust the mounting down here on both sides. If in fact you still have some play after that, you can adjust these points of rotation. That's pretty much universal on the CNC routers. If you have left to right on the spindle, you should really do a multi-step test and find out if the back plate needs twisted, if the actual carriage mount needs twisted, and whatnot. Let's see. I am really interested in an ATC adapter for upgraded xcarve. Well, for me, that's from Michael, by the way. For me, the proper thing for an ATC is going to be a UCCNC upgrade control box. This is a UCCNC control box. It will allow you to run an ATC in conjunction with a VFD and spindle combo. You no longer would need the wrenches. These ones came from B&R for their spindle. But if you have an ATC, you don't need the manual spindle anymore, Mike. So for that, you would need to look at different sender, some different IO ports, and stuff like that. It can be done on a Gerbil. It's just kind of cumbersome. So for me, I like the UCCNC control box. It's set up a lot like a Demon style controller, except for it has digital stepper drivers and a breakout board instead of the Arduino and Demon Shield. So you could run that. And then if you're running that and you want to run your Z on a Gerbil system, you could use the Viking Controls converter, and that'll allow you to run a laser on your Z. It'll also allow you to run a full Gerbil system on a UCCNC control box, driver box, I should say. But as you guys start progressing through this, realize that you're not stuck with a Z like this on any machine. You're really only limited to the gantry size and motor sizes that will handle the Z that you choose. My C4N machine did have this, and I upgraded it to that. So now I went from on my high-speed new carve, I went from this, and then I put a Pro plate on it. So now I have a bigger Z, a faster Z, and a stronger Z. And I'm really loving the way things came together with it. With that, you have, if you upgrade your gantry and your motors and stuff like that, you can put um, spindles and bigger routers, which means you can cut faster, you can cut deeper within reason. A lot of this depends on the rigidity of the machine. So, guys, as you're doing this stuff, you know, don't take everyone else's information and just think that it's going to work for you. You've got to know your machine inside and out. Okay. You've got to do your research. I get a lot of comments that that new guys don't like certain people's answers whenever they hop on the board and they start asking questions. Well, the fact of the matter is, those guys have put in the hours of research, and they started out just like us, and they did their research and they got the answers. So the research is out there for you. If people just give you the answer right away, you're never going to fully comprehend or appreciate the way your machine works. So people are not against the new guys. People are just trying to get you to understand the machine that you bought and the possible upgrades you could do to it. Okay. So, uh, Michael, I can tell you like what you do. You are a wealth of information. Mahalo. Mahalo, Michael. Thank you very much. I do love what I do. And I talk a lot about the CNC for newbie stuff because that's what I have most of now. But let's turn this camera around. Settings, camera, front. Okay, we're back. Um, I do, Michael. I love what I do because there is a revolution happening with the guys that are buying these quote unquote hobby machines. You have, somebody said, nice looking red handle wrenches. Um, like I said, these are from B&R spindles. So that's something that they got in with their spindle kits, and they're shipping those now. And they sent me a pair, and it makes it much better than having to do these big wrenches, these big heavy wrenches, um, and whatnot. So, but yes, Michael, I love what I do because the fact of the matter is, what used to only be used for factory manufacturing can now be done in a home setting. And when I say a home setting, you're looking at my one-car garage with a washer and dryer in it, my air conditioning heating unit, and a roll-up garage door in an HOA. Okay, that's a big thing. Like, I'm doing production for stuff out of a one-car garage where the machines that are doing it used to only be able to be had by people with hundreds of thousands of dollars, and you had to have a factory warehouse floor and everything like that. So us hobbyists are the new age manufacturers, and if you keep up with your machines and you keep upgrading them, you'll never be left behind. You'll always be able to be a home manufacturer that, you may be able to start a huge business with this. So don't ever sell these machines short. Is a CNC router uh, the best option to cut aluminum? No. Can it? Yes. Would it be better to have a mill? Yeah. But if you can't afford a mill, take it slower, do the CNC router, and you'll be good to go. All right. So let's see here. We've got Michael, we've got Facebook user, nice looking red handled wrenches, and then we've got a Facebook user that builds spindle kits in my little garage. That must be Billy from BNR. He's a prime example of a man that, you know, he builds his kits for everyone else in his, he has a 2-car garage. And he's building his way through the CNC router industry, and that's amazing to see, guys. I don't think that you guys, as home hobbyists slash early machinists slash manufacturers, whatever you want to call yourself, whatever you're doing, I don't think you get enough credit for the revolution that is happening. You know, and I want to make sure that you guys understand the upgrade paths. I want to make sure that you guys have access to have questions answered. And I want to make sure that you guys understand that you are the backbone of American ingenuity and American manufacturing. And it doesn't, that I shouldn't even say America. I mean, it doesn't stop in America. You've got UK, you've got Africa, you've got Canada, you've got South America. All of these guys, there is somebody in each one of these areas that does machining and that is finding a way. I have a group of guys that have a machine going to Costa Rica, and they're like, we're going to try and get electrical there to run it, and if not, we're going to run it with a generator. I'm like, cool. You know, these guys, they want to do this stuff. So we are the new backbone of the home engineer, I guess you'll say, the home maker, the home manufacturer. So as you look at this, don't look at your machines as, hey, this is what it is and that's all it'll ever be. No, I've seen guys start out with wood machines and bring them all the way up to an aluminum based machine. I've seen guys start out with a wooden table and then make a welded steel structure to put the machine on and make it sturdier. It's always great to see that. So make sure that you guys keep pushing forward and keep your dreams alive and always push the hobby forward more and more. Um, as I said, I was just giving you some examples of different Z axes that are available that I have in my possession. Let's see. Xcarve is greater than tormach. You know what? There are people out there that say that, and that's where I'll put that one. You know, there are, you know what? An xcarve will carve wood better than a tormach because it's a CNC router. A tormach will chew aluminum and steel much better than an xcarve. Xcarve to tormach. Absolutely. Absolutely. The upgrade path is there. I think I know who that user is. And if it's who I think it is, he started out with an xcarve, never upgraded it other than the laser, and then bought a full-size CNC for newbies, and then was started a business, and then bought a bunch of littler machines, and now he's actually waiting on his tormach to be delivered so he can do even more stuff, more prototyping in his garage by himself. That's just an awesome story of ingenuity. And for you guys. These are people and things to look up to. Later on today, I'm going to go live in the groups, and I'm going to show you how to set up a rotary table. I will tell you it will be geared towards UC CNC, mainly because I don't have any Gerbil controllers hooked up with a Demon rotary switch. But Designs by Phil has the Demon rotary switch available for the Gerbil guys. And that utilizes a switch that allows you to lock an axis, but change that axis step and direction pulses to a rotary motor. So that's really cool. But like I said, I don't have that with me right now. My new carve is all the way back there. It's that table right there. That right there is actually my new carve lead screw machine. And that's the only machine I have with a direct Gerbil control box. All my other ones are utilizing UC CNC through either a UC 300, UC 400, or a UC 100. And then if I need to run Gerbil on them for like lasering, I use the Viking CNC controls converter to run Gerbil. I no longer really have Gerbil control boxes. Now that the converters are out there, you've got and Viking CNC controls isn't the only converter on the market. I don't have one, but I know Designs by Phil makes one. And then Viking CNC Controls makes one. Phil's is a full Arduino Uno with the Demon Shield and a screw terminal DB25 converter. And then Viking CNC Controls uses a Nano with a DB25 solder connection. So two different applications to get to the same end, but those are two things that are available to the UC CNC and Mach 3 controller guys that can run Gerbil through your existing stepper control boxes. So that's pretty much it. I mean, we talked a lot about the upgrade path for the Z-axes, kind of the bearing changes, from V wheel to MG, to the 9mm bearings, to the 15mm bearings, to the 25mm bearings with ball screw. So we went from lead screw V wheels to lead screw 9mm bearings to better lead screw and anti-backlash nut with 15mm bearings to 25mm bearings with a ball screw. And then the different mounts, the different applications and stuff like that. So with that being said, guys, I'm going to cut it off here. And after I pick my daughter up from school, I will start a rotary table live series, and we'll try and get some stuff turned. And I'll show you VCarve and Aspire 11's rotary application. I think 10 had it too, I think. But those are the applications, and we'll basically go from there. Excuse me, guys. All right, later.